Hey guys, we're sitting up here in Kansas. I'm gonna do a quick little video over harvesting jakes and if and when you should harvest jakes. So number one is gonna be the known of legality wise. Make sure that you are hunting in a state that you're actually legally able to harvest jakes. Then once you're in that particular situation, then what I would recommend and what I've done in here in the past is I will look at the pieces of property I'm hunting throughout that state. And if I've got multiple ones, then I'm really going to start isolating, the ones that have got a heavy turkey number. And then at that point, I may have a particular piece of property. It may only be, home to 1 to 2 toms during the spring season, but I may have 12 to 15 jakes, and then maybe, 10, 20 hens. And at that point in time, it's going to be one of my biggest reasons why I may actually lay off my adult toms there and actually go after one of the jakes, just because of the ratio there. And statistically, your big mature tom should be more experienced, more knowledgeable, and be able to escape a threat, whereas your jakes, your 1-year-old birds, they they're just not as smart. They're not as educated. They haven't been around. I understand, if you pull the trigger on one of them, they'll never get there. But to keep that adult tom to jake, the hen ratio in check there, that may be a great avenue for you guys to look at. Now, if you're sitting on a piece of property that's got 8, 10 adult toms and 30 jakes, at that point in time, I'm still going to be chasing after the adult toms. I guess the biggest point here is, you got to really think about the longevity of things and continue to make sure that you've got breeding toms and then you're breeding your hens. And those jakes are just sitting right there in the middle. They may or may not be able to breed that hen this particular year, and it's just something that you've always got to keep in the back of your mind. I know everybody's all about shooting the big long beard and the long spurs, and it's just one of those things where you may have to adjust your management practices slightly on particular properties and or years, depending on what your bird numbers are. So for me personally, I haven't harvested a bird in 2018, or since 2018. I've been really studying these birds, and without taking any birds out of the population, at least on the bigger piece of property that we're hunting. And it seems like I'm starting to see some numbers. I've increased my trapping efforts, planting a bunch more food, keeping those birds on our particular pieces of property, trying to protect them from outside harvesting from neighbors. And those all seem to really work there. But some years you're going to see a lot bigger number of turkeys being hatched than you will another. You've got drought. We're sitting here on some river bottom ground, so you got flood to worry about. There's just so much that comes into play that when it comes to things against turkeys. But harvesting those birds can also play a crucial role in longevity of the population, but also your guys' hunt. So just a few things to kind of keep in mind. The bottom line is, if I've only got 1 to 2 toms and I've got 10 to 15 jakes, first of all, you've got an extremely promising year next year if those birds survive. But chances are I'm gonna be chasing after one of those jakes to just provide meat, and leave those toms alone and just kind of see what happens there. So hopefully this helps you guys out in regards to making that decision whether or not you should or you shouldn't choose to harvest a jake there. And like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature, and best luck on your upcoming hunt.